Yes, everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. Happy Tuesday. Hope your week is going well so far, although we're only 2 days in, but it's not too long until West Ham play again. Obviously, this the Europa Conference League quarterfinal, second leg against KAA Ghent at London Stadium, 8 o'clock kickoff. By then, we'll know who we're playing potentially playing in the semi-finals, as the AZ Alkmaar versus Anderlecht ties at the 5:45 time. So, and obviously, it's currently 2-0 to Anderlecht in the first leg. Well, obviously us, it's a 1-1 draw. So we'll know who we can potentially play, or either side who will play if they win, well, once they win the game, because obviously it has to be decided. But it's Hammers Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. 4 stories today. Russ, you're spoiling us. The first one, story I'm not particularly enamored to talk about, but it's been reported that Newcastle wants Bowen. Newcastle wants the West Ham winger Jarrod Bowen. It's been reported in the Telegraph today that he's firmly on their radar ahead of the summer transfer window. Obviously, we signed a 26-year-old from Hull back in January 2020 for around 18 million quid. And he's been a superb player, isn't he? I mean, he's racked up a total of 66 goal contributions in 146 games, 38 goals, 28 assists. So almost 1 in 2. He's been, for 2/3 of this season, he's been nowhere near his best form. And as I said before, I think he played his way out off the plane, really, to Qatar in the World Cup. I think there was a place for him there, but he was dreadful in the first half of the season. So did the side as well. We've been dreadful all season, but him particularly was being out of form. But he is discovering, his best form of late. I mean, he was in sensational form, I thought, against Arsenal. And hopefully he can take that into the Ghent game and get us into the semi-finals of the Europa Conference League. Now, Eddie Howe is apparently eyeing a surprise move for the former Hull City star at the end of the season. Newcastle are also sniffing around for Declan Reiss as well. For me, I can't see West Ham getting rid of both, selling both in the summer transfer window. There's going to be a massive rebuild job already with Declan Reiss going and a number of players out of contract. I think Jarrod is critical. He's vital for our particularly down for the right-hand side, to be honest. I mean, there's really no one else at the moment we can have really who can play on the right-hand side. I mean, obviously they can play there, but that's very much Jarrod Bowen's position. And we need to keep players like him to spearhead our campaign next season, which, with a fair win should be, hopefully not back to normality, but, in the right half of the table for firstly, and then see where we can go. But the thing is, money talks, isn't it? And Newcastle will, for someone like Bowen, they'll play a premium because he's an English-born player as well. But they could offer a bit of dollar, and if they offer a bit of dollar, then who knows? But hopefully, we keep him because we desperately need him. But putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 6, West Ham have been linked with Arsenal winger Rhys Nelson, and a move for him in the summer. Us and Fulham are targeting him, as he may not, and he probably won't sign a new deal with Arsenal. Apparently he's not going to sign it, with the links to West Ham, Villa, Brighton and Fulham, all interested in signing him for next year. According to the Daily Mail, the 23-year-old prefers to stay in London, so that could obviously put West Ham and Fulham firmly in top spot. And he has an offer on the table from Arsenal. However, with his deal running out in the summer, there's no guarantees he's going to put pen to paper. He'll get more game time at West Ham, that's for sure, and he did for Arsenal. Obviously, he came on for the last few minutes against us at the London Stadium on Sunday. Now, with Arsenal potentially winning the title or definitely qualifying for the Champions League, they're going to have more money, so they're going to be buying more players, so he'll be further down the pecking order, that's for sure. He's only 23, and he's a good player. He is a rapidly quick player, and pace is something we do not have abundance. We have obviously Maxwell Cornet. Wouldn't say Bowen's particularly pacey at all. I mean, Antonio was pacey, but he's more of a brute now. So I think someone like Rhys Nelson could be a very, very good free summer signing. Obviously, we know it's not free because it's a signing on fee, but in terms of potential, 23, he's still got his best years ahead of him, really. And with the news about Bowen, Newcastle interested in Bowen, could it be, one in, one out. Hopefully not, but you could see the stars align. Not stars align because that's the worst. That means it's good, but I want both of them. I want to keep them. I want to keep Bowen, and I wouldn't mind Rhys Nelson coming in either. So keep an eye out on that. Another guy we've been linked with today is the Inter Milan striker Joaquin Correa. Apparently, Inter Milan, his current club, are ready to sell him. Not keen, but ready to sell him, with a host of Premier League sides keen on the 28-year Argentinian forward. According to Inter Live, Correa has plenty of suitors from the Premier League. West Ham, Everton, and Villa are interested in him. Inter Milan are apparently open to sell and are willing to take a massive loss on their investment. Their financial situation isn't great at all, and it'll result in a few notable sales in the summer, that's for sure, with them willing to cut their losses by not signing Romelu Lukaku permanently. So he'll be going back to Chelsea. They might even let a few more of their players go to balance the books up. And Correa's name has appeared on that list, apparently. He was linked with a move away in January, which never sufficed. He's not had his best of times recently since joining from Lazio, and so at Lazio he was a very good player. Not so much his form's dropped since he's been at Inter, so a move away would definitely, or could, reignite his career. Apparently he's interested in the likes of going to Spain. Sevilla apparently interested, but Sevilla haven't got any money either. And since Sapalio's sacking at Sevilla, the chances of him arriving in Sevilla have evaporated dramatically. Obviously, the Argentinian coach was recently sacked from Sevilla. Otherwise, Argentinian, you can see the correlation there. As I said, West Ham, Villa, Everton are all interested in him. Irrespective of what happens in the dugout, the club, may well be obviously selling the likes of Declan Rice, potentially Jarrod Bowen, to fund new moves. And the potential price tag of Correa could entice West Ham into approaching. They'll take a massive loss on him. Moreover, the idea of maybe living in London could entice Correa as well. And also, you can see the types of players we brought in, the likes of Lucas Paqueta. Hopefully, the likes of Scamacca would still stay. Cornet, Ben Rama. There's some really, really nice players that would definitely appeal to a very skillful player to come and play with. And hopefully, we can play to his strengths if he did. But we'll see. We'll see. And lastly, a random one, really. But apparently, West Ham have been attending a few Porto games recently, the Scouts. And one of the names mentioned by the media outlet in Portugal, O Yogo, is the Porto midfielder Matheus Uribe. Yeah. It's been reported that the Hammers are interested in a move to acquire the services of the Colombian international midfielder. Now, he's 32, so I can't really see why this, but he is having a solid campaign in the Portuguese league this year, particularly in the heart of Porto's midfield. He's featured in 43 games for Porto this season, finding the back of the net 5 times and picking up 1 assist in the process across all competitions. He's been capped by Colombia 45 times and is a very steady Eddie, reliable, tenacious midfielder. He can distribute the ball very tidily, as a 85% pass completion rate in the Portuguese top flight this year. He's under contract until the summer 2023. So he would be available on a free transfer at the end of this season unless he signs a new contract. One hasn't been offered to him just yet. He's a good tackler. He's definitely that bit of grit, that sort of, reminds me of the midfielder. He looks a bit like him, Gary Medel, the Chilean midfielder a few years ago, but he reminds me of him, the way he plays, very tenacious, loves to put a foot in, but can play a bit as well. He tends to be that sort of water carrier type, sits defensively, but can easily orchestrate, play going forward. He would definitely add some bite and snap to that midfield at West Ham, particularly with maybe Declan Rice not being around, and definitely could help potentially in Europe next year if we get through if we win the the Conference League and go into the Europa League, or even next year moving, without, even if we don't have any Europe, we'll have a better potential chance of getting higher up in the Premier League because we haven't got those Thursday games potentially. He's 32, as I said, so he's got a few years left, but could be a decent sort of short-term acquisition for West Ham in the off-season. Yes, we've got the Red Bull model, but you do need sometimes a little bit of experience as well. And for him to come in, particularly with that sort of, Declan Rice has played 230, 240 games for us. If that's taken out of the squad and maybe, a Souček's moved on or someone like that, you need a little bit of experience in that midfield. And definitely Matthias could bring that in without a relatively high price tag as well, just for that sort of transition period while the likes of Flynn Downs gets more games for West Ham under his belt, while the likes of, I don't know, a Milenkovic-Savic or someone like that gets adjusted. You just got those different options as well. So although he's 32, and I know people go, oh, where's the Red Bull model go out the window? You need a little bit of bite. You do need a little bit of experience, and I think that's one of the issues maybe with Mark Noble leaving the playing staff and Craig Dawson leaving the playing staff this year. I think we haven't had as much experience, although we do have. I know we've got the likes of Zuma and people like that. People who've been there, done it, got the T-shirt are always useful in the changing room, particularly when I'm thinking about Europe as well. Last season we were really naive to Europe. We were playing the likes of Lyon and Frankfurt and Sevilla, the dark arts, and we were very naive to that. I think this year a little bit more clued up, and that experience that Matthias could bring in could be really useful as well. But anyway, I don't know. I've seen him play a few times. He's quite good. But I think he could be quite an interesting name on the team sheet, that's for sure. He'd probably get a few red cards, let's be honest. Anyway, regardless of that, keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Anytime we come on, you'll be notified. When you hit the option, when you hit the bell, I think there's 4, pick all. And there you get all of them. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Keep the faith, my friends. Come on, you irons. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.